you ever been surprised by an unexpected gift? Why were you surprised? Why were you surprised? According to author Tanya Luna, surprise is something unexpected or misexpected. I hadn't heard that word before, misexpected. She explains that when people are surprised by something, that our brain goes into surprise sequence. It's a strong neuro alert that tells us that something important is in this moment and we need to pay attention. And did you know that you actually freeze for 1/25th of a second when you're surprised? Right? It's because our brain goes, what is this? What's going on? I have to figure out, am I going to fight or flee or what am I going to do? Right? So it's that 1/25th of a second that we freeze while our brain goes through its surprise sequence to figure out what the heck is going on. All right, so now we know about surprises. My talk today is too good to be true. Too good to be true. Thank you, Avenel. And we're continuing our series of living abundantly. And that's what we're talking about all month. It's from our Joyous Living Journal. And October is traditionally the month where we teach prosperity and abundance principles in our Centers for Spiritual Living. So we're talking about that all month. Surprises. Too good to be true. Out of the blue. We've all probably said or thought those things, had those experiences in our lives. Oh my gosh, I just got that thought. Where did that come from? I just solved that problem. How did I do that? What an unexpected surprise. Those are things that typically happen to us. But my question as a religious scientist is, why does the good of God manifesting in my life surprise me? I mean, after all, I do my prayers, I do my affirmations, I'm calling this stuff in. Why would I be surprised? Why would I be surprised? Was I just hoping, wishing? Maybe wouldn't it be nice if it happened? I'll try this prayer stuff. Maybe it'll work. Or maybe I'm in some fear. Or maybe I'm doubting. Maybe I'm doubting. Maybe the surprise was the generosity of the universe in the form of a healing. Maybe it was an unexpected financial gain of some sort. Wow, I wasn't expecting that big bonus. If you've ever been surprised by your good, just like our reading said this morning, I believe you may have reached the edge of your belief. As much good as God can give, your limitation. So think about that. The good news, however, is that your surprise is an evolutionary wake-up call that says, hey, it's time to grow. You're in a box. Time to move beyond these boundaries, right? Time to believe in that prayer a little bit more. Time to call Daniel a few more times, right? Yeah. I shared in our Science of Getting Rich class, our work. What am I doing? I'm doing a workshop this past week about expanding our consciousness, expanding the vessel of our ability to receive more. And I was raised in a small town in Appalachian Mountains in Virginia, Southwest Virginia, up in the hills. We didn't have much. Town had a population of 1,000 people. Yeah, probably about the size of Mayberry, maybe smaller. But we didn't have a lot, and to me, growing up, $100 was a lot of money. A lot of money. And at the tender age of 19, I loaded up my Honda Civic, which was about this big, with all of my worldly possessions and $300 in my pocket and no credit card, and moved to Dallas, Texas, all by myself. When I got to Dallas, I was working in a very high-end jewelry store. Now, why they hired a country bumpkin, I don't know. It was a God thing, and thank you, God. I'll never regret that. But anyway, I was suddenly found myself surrounded by trinkets that had price tags like $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. I remember having the experience of being handed a strand of South Sea pearls that had a price tag of like $75,000 on it. What do you do with that, right? But I was also surrounded by people who could afford to purchase those trinkets that had that consciousness. Talk about a perspective shift. It was pretty radical. I then went into real estate. And in real estate, I deal with projects in the millions. Largest one to date is probably $22 million. That's a lot of zeros. It's a lot of dirt. It's a lot of project. So I tell you this because it's the progression and the expansion of my consciousness and my ability to accept more, And it's a tremendous expansion from my family roots in the hills of Virginia to expanding my comfort zone where I am today and what I believe is possible in my life and your life. It's expanding into understanding what infinite possibilities can begin to mean for us, breaking through those boundaries of our own limitation, our own unbelief, if you will. Prosperity teachers throughout the ages tell us that in order to receive more, we have to be willing to receive more. Ernest Holmes tells us that in The Science of Mind. He says, what you're praying for, you must be willing to receive. You must be willing to receive it. And, we're probably all going, well, heck yeah, I'm ready to receive. Bring it on. Right? Bring it on. I'm ready. But there's more to it. There has to be that matching belief within us. That matching belief within us that we are worthy of it. Now, Reverend Karen talked to you about that last week, about our worthiness and that we're automatically worthy just for the fact that we're alive. Because we are emanations of the divine. We are created of the divine substance. And spirit is always giving. The second thing is also there has to be this receptive acceptance. This receptive acceptance on our part. How much you can believe dictates how much you can receive. Ernest Holmes, excuse me, who's the founder of our Centers for Spiritual Living, is the author of The Science of Mind. He tells us that there is nothing in the universe that limits you. Did you know that? There is nothing in the universe that limits you. There is nothing in the universe that withholds from you, because doing so would withhold from itself. You are some part of its purpose. Therefore, spirit seeks, urges, pushes against you to fulfill itself. Think about that. Spirit is always giving. Always giving. No matter how abundantly the horn of plenty may pour out in its universal gifts, there must be a bowl of acceptance, a chalice of expectancy, or the gift cannot be complete. Imagine someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, Penny, I got a gift for you." And you go, "Is the gift received?" No, we have to receive, right? We have to receive. I'm ready. Your bowl of acceptance is open, right? How large is your bowl of acceptance? Right. That's another question that we have to ask ourselves. Those are those limiting boundaries. Oh, that's all. That's all. How much? And how big is your chalice of expectancy? Is it a thimble or is it a bathtub? Is it a thimble or is it a bathtub? It's Warren Buffett who says when gold is raining down, don't go out with a thimble, go with a bucket, right? The universe is always raining down gold. Always raining down gold. How big is your bucket to receive what's possible for you? What is the limitation of your possibilities of receiving? Now, I know we're all sitting here going, lady, I am so ready to receive a boatload of good, right? I'm ready to receive a boatload of good. What are you talking about? I think when we start to dig a little deeper, we can begin to discover those boundaries that we're talking about, those limitations, those self-inflicted, I would say, limitations that we've put on ourselves. A few holes in our bucket, you might say. Limiting thoughts, thoughts of lack, the times that we judge others who are experiencing prosperity. We push it away, telling the universe, prosperity's bad, I don't want any of that. Don't want to be like that person. You remember my story of the Bentley, right? When I was looking for a car and I had a Bentley come up next to me, and my reaction was, I caught myself and I corrected it and recognized that that was his expression of the divine. His choice of expressing that divine urge through him, of Spirit's nudge. He said, Bentley, got it. I want one. I'm going to go get one. I have the money to get one, and I have the self-confidence to drive it. I've got the confidence, right? That's what he said. So he's driving around in a Bentley and quite happy. But what I realized in that moment was, I don't really want a Bentley. I mean, I really don't. I could if I wanted one, but I don't want one. I want a Lexus. So it's recognizing in those moments when those old programs operate within us and catching ourselves and changing that, blessing what we just were pushing away through our judgment, blessing it, recognizing all of it as an expression of the divine, that God is the Spirit, the essence, the presence, the infinite substance. We are the expression because it expresses through us. It pushes on us with desire. Every desire, want that you have is Spirit saying, hey, let's do this thing. I want to experience it through you. Whether it's a Bentley or a bucket, whatever. It's how Spirit is expressing and expanding through you. Take the expansion. Take the expansion. How wide is your chalice of expectation? Expectation kind of gets her bad rap sometimes, doesn't it? Oh, you shouldn't have expectations. You'll just be disappointed. Oh, expectations. People will always be bad. Whatever that little belief is, right? But in reality, expectation and belief go hand in hand. We believe and expect the sun to rise. I believe when I speak my prayers that the expectation is that whatever I'm praying for manifests. So it's belief is in the invisible, expectation is in the material. Belief is in the invisible. That's our prayer. Our expectation is in the physical. Another sneaky little hole in our bucket can be fear. Sometimes known as security. I have to have security. I have to be and feel secure before I can retire, before I can take the vacation, before I can buy the house. I have to feel secure. Might be better described as insecurity, maybe. It shows up sometimes as how much is, it's not enough. There's not enough. And the question remains, and how much is enough? What is that boundary of enoughness? Will we ever reach it? Will we ever reach it? Oh, $1 million sounds like enough. Oh, God, that's not quite enough. I might need a little bit more, just a little bit longer. Look, how much is enough? It's a lack of faith that our source is God, is really what that comes down to. We've placed our secure feeling, our security, our safety in something outside of ourselves. We can get so fixated on that fear that it debilitates us from our abundant expression. We're here to express abundantly. whether that's with our love, our joy, our sharing of our talents, our time, or even our financial good. We hold back, we hoard, we can become miserly in our gifts. True security comes only through faith. Faith in life, faith in ourselves, faith in God. Faith in God is really what we're talking about all month long around prosperity. Faith in our source as the divine. Many, many, many channels, one source. There can be no permanent healing. We can get temporary stuff, but no permanent healing, gratification, or feeling of safety without strong faith. So plugging these fear holes in our abundance buckets requires trust and true faith, the faith of God that lives within us. We talked about that before, that we are created of God. God is faith. Faith is within us. But because of our fear and our lack and our limitation, we have a tendency to squash that faith. We have a tendency to start believing in the world of effects. Oh, get real, right? Get real. Listen to the news. Have you seen the economic forecast? Do you know where inflation's going? Oh my gosh. We have a tendency to buy into that rather than our faith in our one true source, the divine, that which lives, moves, and breathes within us. As I was writing this talk this week, I was thinking about surprise. It's like, well, gosh, I like surprises. I mean, I kind of do like surprises, right? So I got to wrestling with that a little bit. And I wondered if my surprise might be more around the timing of the gift than the gift itself. So I noodled with that a little bit. When we pray believing that our prayer is to be answered, we still don't know how or when, right? In fact, we're taught to stay out of that. We're taught to just stay out of that. I'm wrestling your microphone. We're taught to stay out of that. That's none of our business, right? We have one idea, one channel through which our good can come. The infinite has infinite numbers, right? I think I'd rather trust that to figure out how and when than me. I just stay focused on what it is, not the how or the when. And I think that may be my surprise. Oh, wow, that came quick. Oh, wow, that took forever. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't know how it was going to manifest, but look at that. Look at how that arrived. Surprise, surprise. Who knew that flat tire would create that new job for me? Because I met that person that had the job opening and we got to chatting while they were changing my tire. Oh my gosh, didn't see that coming. I thought that flat tire was a bad thing. Multiple channels, infinite possibilities. So the next time you feel surprised, check in with yourself. What am I surprised about? What am I surprised about? Am I surprised about how? Am I surprised about when? Or am I surprised about what? If I'm surprised about what, that's where I've got some spiritual work to do. Because if I've prayed for it and it's shown up, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. Anybody ever used a spiritual mind treatment? Had a manifestation? No? There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So when the manifestation happened, how did you feel? Were you surprised? Were you relieved? Finally. Or were you unfazed? Were you unfazed and just, of course the sun rose. Of course it came. Of course it showed up. How did you respond when your prayer manifested? There's a funny story about Ernest Holmes that something came up. He needed $300. And so he told one of his ministers, he said, I'm going to go do my prayer work around the $300 that I need this afternoon, whatever. And they're like, okay, whatever, I support you in that. And he came back, and a few hours later, somebody shows up with $300 out of the blue. And the person questioned Ernest, and they said, why didn't you go ahead and treat for like 1,000? If a 300 was that easy, why didn't you just treat for 1,000 and get next week taken care of? And he goes, why would I do that? That's doubting my source. God provides for me when I ask. Why would I ask for more than I need? I ask for what I need and it's fulfilled. And if I need 300 next week, I'll ask again and it'll be fulfilled too. That's the faith we're talking about. That's the faith we're talking about. What we need, when we need it. Perfect right time. So if we're surprised by our good, it's time to expand our vessel of receptivity. How can I not let this surprise me next time if I'm surprised by the what that shows up? We grow our consciousness of abundance. We polish up our chakras. We fluff up our faith. That's how we do it. Now, this may include a little work over in our comfort zone, right? We all have a comfort zone, the habits of thoughts and the way that we live in abundance, the way that we experience health and our relationships in life. We all have a little comfort zone. We get a little further out of either side of that, a little too good, a little too not good. We usually are going to kind of lean back into center, lean back into that comfortable area. Same finances, same job, same relationship, same health status, right? We're going to lean back into that. The key to breaking this barrier is to expand our consciousness in that particular area that we're looking to expand in, whether it's relationship, whether it is career, health, finance, whichever area it is. We need to expand. If there's not enough, in your opinion, and that's all that counts, in any of those areas in your life right now, we need to expand the consciousness there. We need to expand the consciousness to receive more. We're preparing ourselves to receive the more before it gets here. Grateful in advance, making space for it. If you're buying new furniture for your dining room, do you have to move the old table and chairs out before the new one? Usually. Yeah, usually. And that's what we're talking about. You've got a small table and chairs in your health department, your finance department, your relationship department. You want a bigger set. You got to clean out and make room for the new stuff, right? That's what we're talking about. So if you ever find yourself surprised by the good of God showing up in your life, remember that this is the edge of your belief. Wow, I'm limiting myself. This is the edge of my limitation. The boundary of my unbelief. This is as much as I can believe, really? That could be surprising in and of itself, right? Yeah. This is as much as I can believe. Wow. I think I want to believe more. I want to believe more. Start where you are. Start where you are with that realization and begin to expand through whatever means are necessary. Call Daniel, he'll help you. We expand our consciousness in each of those areas by exploring, reading, studying, growing, talking in community like this, working with your practitioners, learning the skills to expand the vessel so that more can come. The more that you're seeking, the more that Spirit is seeking to experience through you can be expressed. That's what we're here to do. So let's take a look at some practicing the principles today and see how we can take this home with us this week and develop a receptive acceptance to more good in our lives. If you have not signed up for Mindful Monday yet, that's the Monday morning newsletter that I send out, a summary of our talk. It has all the details of our practicing the principles so that you can use this throughout your week to expand your receptivity. Number one, well, I started saying patch your leaky bucket, but then I said, you know what? This is Prosperity Month. Get a new bucket. Get a new bucket. Yeah. This week, notice any limiting thoughts, beliefs, or actions of lack, or when you judge others for their prosperity. Catching yourself in those moments, it's a good giggle. I will tell you that. It's a good giggle. But then fixing it, correcting it, and doing your treatment work around it is very, very powerful. So catch yourself doing that. Pay attention to your words and notice any fear or insecurity thoughts that you may have. If you get caught up in an area of not enoughness, notice that. Treat your way through that. Journal your revelations that you come up with, your stories, the events and things that happen, and take them into your meditation for healing. And then write or speak your treatment, or write and speak your treatment, whichever way. Or if you need help with treatment, you need help with a prayer, call Daniel, call me, call Reverend Lee. We'll be happy to pray with you. Number 2, stop saying, I can't believe it. Right? Power of our words. I can't believe it. Oh, really? That's too much. Sorry, we won't give you that much again. Stop saying that. What for you is too good to be true? What for you is too good to be true? Is it a miraculous healing, an exorbitant financial gain, Mr. or Mrs. Wonderful showing up in your life, your dream job, retirement, or creative expression? What is too good to be true? Notice this week, whenever you are doubtful about receiving your good, reframe some of those common expressions that we say, like, I can't believe it. I can believe it. I can believe it. It's that simple. Just reframe some of those expressions and be more welcoming of your good. Make sure your bowl of acceptance is right side up. Yeah. And also, your chalice of expectancy is clean to receive. And expectancy, remember, belief and expectancy go hand in hand. Expand your receptivity from a thimble to a bathtub. Get a bigger boat, as they said in Jaws. Number 3 is find your boundaries. Find these boundaries so that you can move through them. If you're ready to experience more of the good of God through your life, I'm going to offer you a practice this week. And I call it the double check register exercise. Now, some of you may have done this before. Today, when you get home, take a sheet of paper, your journal, something, and write out a deposit to yourself for $100,000. We're only doing this a week, so I'm going to really push you hard. $100,000 deposit today, as soon as you get home. You have to circulate every dime of that before you go to bed tonight. So you enter your deposit, and then you begin circulating and subtracting and circulating until you get to 0 before bed tonight. Notice what you feel. Notice what you're thinking. Notice where it's going. Tomorrow morning you get up. You've done another deposit. You're starting at 0. You deposit $200,000. You have all day to figure out how to circulate that. Notice what's happening for you. When you see those numbers, you see those zeros, when you start circulating that good, notice. Tuesday, 400,000. Wednesday, 800,000. Thursday, $1,600,000. Circulate it by the end of the day. Better get up early. Friday, $3,200,000 to circulate in the world. What good could you do for you and for others? Saturday, $6.4 million. By this time next week, you will have received and circulated $12,700,000. I can't wait to hear from you. Cannot wait to hear from you. Somewhere in this exercise, you may find the edge of your belief. It may happen this afternoon. It may happen next Saturday. I hope it doesn't happen at all. I hope you have no boundaries in that. I hope you have no boundaries in that. But if you do, cross that boundary, overcome your fear, and realize there is nothing too good to be true for you. Let us pray. Recognizing the one, the only one, God and nothing else, the infinite power and presence that is in, through, and as all that is created, all that is. It is the abundance, the prosperity, the circulation, the harmony, the joy, the wisdom, and the intelligence. It is the givingness of God itself. It is unconditioned love that loves so much that it creates all out of itself, expressing it as itself, and then living in, through, and as its creation for greater experience in this physical realm. And I know that I am, and each of us is, a manifestation of this one unconditioned love. This love that loves so much that it continues to give to and through us as this creative expression, as ideas, as desires, as wants, as needs, and then supplying all that we need for that manifestation to experience more of itself as us, individualized and unique through our lives, as our lives. More love, more joy, more peace, more harmony, more good, more good. And so as I know this about each of us and about all that is in existence, for all is a creation of the divine, I know that whatever desire is on our hearts, whatever need, whatever want, whatever question, that as we open our hearts, we open our minds, the answer is revealed. The next step, the perfect next right step, is illuminated brightly on the path ahead of us. The aha moment, the idea from out of the blue, the surprise. Not in the what is manifested, but in the how, in the timing, the channel through which it comes, one of an infinite plethora of channels. So I know as we lift our desires into this prayer that we each hold them up into the light for each other and for ourselves, knowing their full and complete manifestation in our lives right here and right now. And how grateful I am for this knowing, for this community, for its prayerfulness in supporting each other. And so I gratefully and joyfully release this into the action of law, the activity of mind, knowing that it is done. For we have spoken our word in the invisible substance, and we await with great expectation its manifestation in our lives in physical form. And we affirm this together by saying, and so it is.